Yo, what's going on, guys? So, actually pretty big balance changes along with some additions for Apogea, that was posted, earlier today that I wanted to go over and talk about. So, initially, that just kind of like looks like nerfs to classes. However, the big one I'm going to get to is down here in this one, the new backpack slash bag and channel runes. So, to start off with, just to go over this really, really quick, knights, their health, defense, and armor scaling all went down by 25%. So 200 to 175 for health, 150 to 125 for defense, 150 to 125 for armor. Rogues, health, magic scaling, and ability scaling all went down 25%, 100% to 75% for health, 150 to 125% for magic, and 150 to 125% for ability. And then mages, 25% as well, 200% mana to 175% mana, 200% mana regen, 175%, and then 200% magic to 175% magic. So, like I said, initially, excuse me, initially these kind of just seem like nerfs overall to the classes. However, they did this in anticipation of adding in this system down here, which is the rune system, which will be for your bag. So, like once again, all of the runes cannot be enchanted on backpacks. I mean, you can only have one of these on your character, so you will only be able to have one of these active at any given time. And he did mention like maybe squires can have like two of them, right? Like so if you stay the squire class, and you can equip two of them or something like that, which would be kind of cool. But anyways, we're just gonna talk about this in the scope of the classes. So first, let's just go over the runes. We have the purple rune. I'm probably not gonna. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll say his name. Seemed pretty easy. We have Algiz. It gives 25% to ability and 25% to magic. Purple rune Issa, which gives 25% to magic and 20. So I mean, honestly, the rune names don't matter, right? We're just gonna call it the. I mean, I guess technically they do, right? But whatever. Purple rune Issa gives 25% to magic and 25% to mana scale. Dark rune Issa 25% to armor and 25% to magic scale. Dark Rune Algiz, 25% to attack speed and 25% to magic scale. Yellow Rune Issa gives 25% to defense and 25% armor scale. Green Rune Issa gives 35% to attack speed and 15% capacity scale. White Rune Issa gives 35% to ability and 15% capacity scale. Blue Rune Issa 35% to mana and 15% mana regen scale. Amber Rune Issa 35% to magic and 15% mana regen scale. Red Rune Issa gives 35% health and 15% health regen scaling. And Amber Rune Algiz 35% to ability and 15% health regen scale. And then they say at the bottom, this is an attempt to allow you to customize your class to your liking, giving more flexibility to your playstyle without breaking classes. So, I do like the idea here. However, I'm not so sure on the actual runes itself. I do think it allows for more customization, but depending on how the rune system works, for example, can I remove runes at will? Like, if is it like you equip it and to remove it, you have to break it, for example, right? If it's a system like that, then I inherently don't like it because that means if I want to swap builds, that's just another level of things I want to swap. Let's say I'm playing like, a high damaging build because, obviously I play Knight. This is my class. So let's say, talking about Knight, right? So let's say I'm playing like, like a high damage build and I've got like I don't know, like, the attack speed and magic one, for example, or like the ability and magic one, something like this and I decide, okay, I'm gonna tank. So then I'm gonna swap over to the excuse me, and then I'm gonna swap over to the defense and armor one. Does that mean I have to break my rune and replace it with this one? Also, another question immediately jumps to mind: how do we get access to these runes? Because very, very obviously, like let's say this isn't something that you have access to immediately, or it's really expensive or hard to get. Then outright, that's just a nerf to these classes, right? And I would say pretty heavily that certain classes got nerfed way harder than others. Like, okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest here, right? The Knight's nerf here, the health, defense, armor scaling, is ridiculous compared to Rogue. For example, Rogue has health regen scaling nerf. This only matters early game. Once you get around level like 18, 19, 20, that area, you don't care about this anymore because your healing is coming from spamming heal with a mana regen. That's just kind of what it gets to. Like, this isn't really relevant. Magic scaling, yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, you don't really need this. You don't build much magic. You build just enough to be able to get access to your spells, which is probably like I don't even know. I don't think they build that much. Maybe I'm like being wrong here, but I'm pretty sure all the way up to level 40, I don't think the rogues built more than like maybe 10 magic. I don't even know if they built that much. And then ability scaling, yeah, I mean, this is something, this is definitely like something relevant. This is kind of like a direct nerf to their damage. But overall, like, I don't think these nerfs are particularly large. Like, if you compare magic and health regen on Rogue to like defense and health or armor and defense on Knight, I mean, obviously, like, anybody with a brain would tell you these two stats are way more important for Knight than these two stats are for Rogue, right? Like, it's just kind of no brainer. And then for Mage, 25% nerf across the board for everything here. Uh, how relevant is it? I'm not sure. I think like these nerfs mostly hurt you early game because early game one of the struggles of mage is to try to get enough mana and mana regen to actively cast your spells and really start playing your class. The magic is just a damage nerf. The less you have less of this, which means you have less damage. And overall, you're probably fine with that. It probably isn't a big deal. Um, Very, very likely what you're going to do is you'll probably end up going for like health or something just to make up for your lack of defensive utility. Like even maybe like probably not defense and armor, but maybe health and health regen or something along those lines. Or maybe you just go for like, you go for magic and mana. Because like that's one of the things you can do here, right? Like let's say for example you were to take the Amber and Issa on mage. Then effectively all your like you're losing 25% of your total mana. Yeah, I mean that's kind of annoying, but you're also gaining more damage than you lost. Like you're gaining extra 10% damage, right? Like you're getting extra 10% magic, which is just more damage, and you still only lose 10% of your mana. Same way for the Blue and Issa. Like yeah, then you can lose a little bit of your, you can lose a little bit of your magic, but you're also just gonna outright have a net gain on mana as well as only have a small downside to your mana regen. You could do this for like, or you could take up something like here, and this right here is one of my issues. Like Purple and Issa, for example. Let's like, okay, well, like, what if I just want to play my class how it was? Like, I don't want to build my class a different way. Like, I would have to take this on Mage, or I guess let's talk about Knight because I play Knight. Like, I would have to take this on Knight, and then at the same time, I'm just ended up down. I just end up down stats. Like, my class is just overall nerfed, right? Which I think is where the issue lies. Like, I would say that there should be some option to give you the stats that you lost, while making the others also very enticing. Like I should be, it should be an option for me to run these, alternate builds and customize my character more. But at the same time, I shouldn't be like to the point where it's like, okay, I either have to go some new build and like, customize my character and get extra stats, or what I do is I just try to be the character I used to be, but I'm worse at it effectively, which I don't particularly enjoy. Like I do think incentivizing other builds is fun, but I don't like hurting people that want to go just whatever the build was, because like I played the class because I liked what it was. I didn't if I liked something else, like if I wanted more attack speed and magic, then I would have played rogue, right? That's just kind of where it comes down to. And at the same time, like I said, I just don't think a lot of these trade-offs are worth it. Like if you consider, losing 25% health, defense, and armor to gain what, 35% more magic and 15% more mana regen, I don't think that's a net positive, right? Like I'm not really sure it is. Um, Maybe if it was like 35% mana regen and 15% magic, like I could see the argument there. But at this current area, like looking at all of these, I'm just not sure. Or I guess right. I mean, like even this one, right? Like 35% more mana and 15% mana regen. Like maybe, but I don't know if this is what you do. Like I don't know like what you would want to go here. At the same time, like maybe like the ability and health regen one, it's more abilities, more damage. Health regen, just gets you some of that back that you lost. But like I said, maybe it's different for mages and rogues because their class plays a little differently. But looking at it for Knight, I'm just not sure how good these are. And like I said, I mean, obviously, it's a very, like, it's a testing thing, right? Like, this is brand new system they're implementing, the numbers will be tweaked. And one actually other thing that I think is worth mentioning is when talking about the other runes, like, if you guys don't know, there's runes coming for, like, magic stuff, and I think maybe melee stuff. But specifically for magic, which is, like, spells and stuff, the runes will be upgradable, which makes me wonder, are these runes here going to be upgradable? Like if I get my yellow root Issa to legendary, is my defense and armor gonna be, like 40% or 45% additional? Because if so, then obviously that kind of changes things, right? But at the same time, this just I think adds another level of gear that I have to upgrade on an RNG. Excuse me, on an RNG system. Like if I have to upgrade my rune 2 or 3 times just to get it back to where I feel like my character was before, then it doesn't feel like very good. At the same time, I'm just not sure how I feel about some of these combinations. I think a lot of these just kind of end up being pretty bad. Like a lot of them are, like I said, just attempting to give you back what you lost. Like this right here. This is for like rogue or like mage. Or I mean this is a bit different. This is something else. Like that's what a lot of them are. A lot of them aren't really new. And you could be like, oh well, like I could run this on like Knight, and even then it's like yeah I could, but like that just feels worse. Like getting 25% more magic and 25% more ability for losing all of these doesn't feel good. Same thing for magic and mana. Same thing for armor and magic. Like I wouldn't make this trade willingly, which is I think that is where the big issue is. Like maybe what they could do is you keep the base values on your character, But if you want to opt into the system and equip a rune, then equipping this, like, like, I mean, I don't know how you would do it, right? Like, let's say each one of these is like let's say it's like red rune Issa, and then in like in parentheses knight, or red rune Issa rogue, red rune Issa a mage. And if you equip this for that class, then you gain these stats and you lose the corresponding stats up here. I think that would be a better system overall. And it also just makes it, like I said, I think it makes it more interesting. I don't like feeling like I'm forced into playing one certain way. Like I said, I feel like, and I kind of sound like a broken record already, like in this video. But at the end of the day, I don't like that my class was overall nerfed with the intention of me being able to try new builds. It's like, what if I don't want to, right? Or what if none of these are what I want? Because like I said, if you gave me 35% more mana regen, and whatever percent more mana or magic, you know what? Like I'd probably consider that. I'd probably like, you know what? I could probably do that. But at the current amounts, I just don't see these being worth it. Like I said, once again, that's from like a kind of a knight perspective. And you can always say like, yes, I could just take like Yellow Rune Issa, and I'm just getting back my defense and armor, but at the same time, I'm still like losing out. And losing 25% of your health scaling really isn't gonna. It's not the end of the world. It's not really gonna change a ton. Um, like you get, I think what instead of 10 HP per level, you get what like is it 7.5? I think it's maybe 7. No, no, it's not 7.5. It's like what, like 8.7, I think is what it should be. Maybe my math's wrong there. I don't know. I'm not a math player. I'm a knight, bro. I don't do math. But yeah, like just overall not really a big fan. With that being said, this is definitely like if you are a person that doesn't like how strict the classes were and you want some more build variety, this is really good because I don't want to just be sitting like dooming the whole time. I definitely think this will give rise to those people because people like me that are like, oh, I want to play my class. Like I liked my class what it was. I want to play it. And that's not to say I didn't want changes. It's just them like here there aren't the changes I would like. I don't have the options I want. But if there are changes here that you like, then this is great for you because then you can play however you want it. You can make a tankier mage, or you can make, a squishier knight that has more damage, stuff like that. Just overall pretty cool stuff. And like I said, if the rune system is able to be like easily removed and added back in without, completely like bricking your entire like rune and having them break it or whatever that is, or maybe it gets locked to the item and you can't replace it on something on that item, which I'm sure it won't be, but just if, then I mean it's gonna be what it is, right? Like if you can remove it and easily, great. It's fun. It way better. If you can't, then that's an issue. I like being able to change my stuff depending on the content I'm doing. Like I like the idea of, oh, I'm a tank now. Okay, I'm done tanking in a group. I'm gonna go back to a more damage spec because I'm playing solo. I don't really like the one build fits all sort of thing, and I know that's what the game will be at very, very high level. However, that is hundreds and hundreds of hours into the game, and at that point, I mean, I don't really care because in a way that's a fun in its own right because like it's the power fantasy you've earned after putting all the hours. Like, oh yeah, I can do everything. I can tank, I can damage, heal, whatever. But yeah, definitely interesting changes. I think the idea is there. I'm just not sure how I feel about what it currently is. And like I said, yes, this is going to be very early iteration of it. And I'm sure there will be numbers tweaked and everything like that. I'm sure there's going to be some like broken build. Like maybe there's something I'm completely missing here that just makes Knight completely OP or like one of the other classes OP or something like that. It's very possible. I mean, while I do think I'm a good player, that doesn't mean I'm the best player in the game, nor does it mean I'm the smartest player in the game. This is just my opinion at face value. And I really haven't put a ton of thought into this. I mean, I've thought about it a little here and there, but the 12, 13, how far am I at? The 14 minutes into this video that I've been talking is the most consideration I've really, really given to this sort of thing. And like I said, regardless of balance wise, I definitely think this is cool. I do like the customization. I like the idea and the direction this is going in. I think the rune system is definitely good. And being able to customize your character like this does have its merits. I won't deny that there. Because, for example, like, you could even go Squire. Like, let's say, I mean, assuming they don't do, like, the two runes for Squire. Like, you could even go Squire and be, like, kind of like some hybrid between all the classes, right? Like, you could take 35% more magic and mana regen and be, like, some hybrid between, like, a knight and a spellcaster. Where, like, you're pretty just solid at everything. Because, knight has 100% scaling and everything. And, like, overall, that could be pretty cool. I do think, though, just like, once again, just going back over it to reiterate, I feel like the relevancy of the nerfs to the classes was not even remotely close. Like, I mean, I feel like no matter what, like, I mean, this is all you could nerf on Mage, right? These are the only stats they have positively. And Knight, I mean, Knight has like several that are positive, but I think the Rogue nerfs just came in really, really like small. Health regen, irrelevant. Magic, still mostly irrelevant. And ability, I mean, that is, that's something. I won't deny it. That's something important. But mainly the health regen and magic ones, I think these are such like small amounts. Because I mean, if you look at the stats, right, like for Knight, for example, like for Knight and Mage, like these three stats here that got nerfed, like these are the lifeblood of the class. Knight is all about his health, his defense, and his armor. Mage, mana regen, magic, the only like the most important stats of the class. And Rogue, like if this was like attack speed, max health or something, or like mana regen and then ability, I'd be like, okay, yeah, like this is fair. Like these are even across all the classes, but that's just not what it is. But with that being said, that's probably gonna wrap up the video. Not like a ton to talk about here. I'm not like trying to theory craft combinations or anything like that. Just kind of want to like talk about it a little bit. Get the old brain juices flowing, as they say. I don't know who says that, but I just said it, so at least one person did. But yeah, feel free to comment below. Your ideas on this. Like it, don't like it. Build ideas, that sort of stuff. Like anything you'd be thinking about that sounds really cool. And I'll definitely read them. I love talking about this game. I'm super excited for it. And I think there was something else. No, I think I made a video on this and I just didn't upload it. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace, peace.